Did you accomplish what you wanted to this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I got it done. I'm excited to be moving to the next step. I got a really tough opponent, so have some focused training, some training without having so much on me. Just focus on one guy, 2 matches, and a possible third, you know, so I'm excited.
Yesterday you went through your journey, how hard it was to get here. It was last minute, everything you went through with the erroneous drug test and everything that happened. Is it a relief to finally make this final exercise?
Yes. When I wrestled that last chance, I was kind of out of it. Like, it was hard to kind of put in words what I was feeling, but I was out there, and I'm happy that I had a good performance to be able to punch my ticket to here. But once I, started processing what was going on, I was really excited to be here, and I knew I could handle business.
Dave, why is it important for you to keep doing it after all the stuff you went through?
I think perseverance is really important. It's a big part of our sport. The lessons that you learn just through showing up, going through stuff, and continue to move forward, it's invaluable. It's something that sets our sport apart from other sports. And I owe it to myself. I've done a lot for the sport, but for myself, I get to go out on my own terms, which is something that everybody hopes they can do, barring injury and obviously something like this with the drug test thing. That's not how we write it up, so I still have my fairy tale ending that I could have, but I think it's just the beginning. So
what's your history with Jaden?
Me and him are boys. It's a good friend of mine. It's a brother. We talk off the record all the time. We trained a lot over the last couple of years. He's a great athlete. He's made me a better wrestler, and I'm excited to get after him. He knows that he's going to have to really get right and get ready because I'm coming for him.
Yeah, how do you beat him? I mean, impeccable defense. Do you have a game plan already?
Yeah, so most guys Jaden wrestles, he's the better athlete. I think I'm the better athlete. So that one thing right there kind of tips on my scale. And then I've wrestled him a lot, so he has some tendencies, and I've been scoring on him. He scored on me some too, so he's going to clean up some stuff. I'm going to clean up some stuff. I trust my coach. I think he's the best coach in the country, best coach in the world. So I know that we'll be ready. Game plan wise, it's just about execution. And then so this is just part of the process. Had a tough match out there, which was great. So now I can just keep moving forward and still doing things that I've never done before. What Jaden has is something that I want. So I want to be able to do it. People talk about like the glory and winning and doing it for the sport. I mean, at the end of the day, shit, like, I got 4 kids, it's more money, I wrestled a lot of money matches. I love money being a thing and a driver in the sport. It motivated me to get better. So with that opportunity out there, obviously you win some money for winning a world championship. I can really set myself in a really good position to keep going and then really feel like a professional athlete.
I don't want to go past the competing, but you have been assistant coach. Have you considered that as a full-time profession?
It is full-time for me.
I mean, as a head coach.
So I have considered what it would look like for me to have my own team and kind of manage it in a way that is conducive to getting guys right out there in the real world and doing great things, and also having some success on the mat. And that would be really cool. I have a really good mentor in our head coach, Chris Ayers. He's the best. So it's just been a sponge, and then watching how him, Coach Dubuque, Coach Sean Gray, they work together and just create that ecosystem for development. And I mean, we're doing great things at Princeton. So for me right now, my goals are on wrestling, and it's kind of hard to do both. As far as being a head coach, I couldn't imagine. I would be giving something up, I would have to quit. And I'm not ready to do that yet. So keeping my options open, obviously. I have a really different situation than a lot of guys who are competing here. So it takes a little finesse to keep it going. But my situation works for me. I feel like I'm making more gains than anybody in the world, year over year, week over week, month over month. So it's just about continuing to make those gains and putting it all into practice.
Yeah, you talk about making gains and taking those money matches. I think people looked and saw you had the most matches during that COVID year. I assume that was a big part of your gains and getting you here.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing that sucks about this last year. I wasn't able to compete as much. Competition just kind of brings out the beast in you a little bit. You know, it makes you hungry. You got that next thing on the calendar that you can really hone in on and sharpen some things. And then game planning for guys specifically, you add those up. You know, you got 16 different guys that you're game planning for. You figure out how to wrestle a little bit. So I'm really good at wrestling. That translates to my guys who I coach, and it just makes a really good situation for us. And more money matches, more money matches. Keep money in the sport. That's one thing that people who love wrestling, like, tell people to throw more money matches. Show up when they do them. Connect your people, your networks with them, so that we can make this happen.
Is that the reality of the sport that a lot of people just forget? That you guys don't make a lot of money.
We don't, and it's changing. Like, it's changing quick. In real time, college guys are competing, having success, and turning that into dollars. Something that really, for me, I had kids in college. That would have been great, man. That would have been a great game changer. I think I'd be a lot better of a wrestler right now just because of that incentive alone. But there's so much talent outside of the sport. Sometimes we have this narrow vision of, like, they have to be within the sport to be able to do the things within the sport. And I think it's a little bit played out. I think we could follow the model of, like, UFC or different things that came kind of from the bottom and then just kind of blossomed overnight and became a powerhouse. Wrestling has that potential. It's a primal sport. Everybody knows who's winning, who's losing. It's physical. People like it, you know. So getting some of the talent outside of the sport and ingraining them with the people who know what they're doing, it's going to make fans out of those people. Those people have families. It's going to make new wrestlers. It's going to grow the wrestling pie. There's so many ways that the wrestling pie can grow, but the bigger the pie, the more there is for the athletes, the more there is for the community, and I think it'll be the better product.
You talk about your mentality going from 2 weeks ago, not knowing if you'd ever wrestle in any major competition again, and then how that changed this last week, getting ready for this.
Yeah, mentality since the hearing. It's been like almost like wild bear, like kind of pissed off, like just got out of hibernation, and all the food that you were gonna eat is gone. You know what I mean? So I actually had to give up the sport in my mind for me to be able to have productive days. I had to think of what life would look like without wrestling, and then obviously with that stain on your career, like, hey, oh well, you know, you tested positive for a performance-enhancing drug. If you look at my trajectory, they're like, oh well, that makes sense, you know. It would have been hard being within wrestling. It would have been hard having those conversations every day. So it's good that my name was vindicated for my own sake, for my legacy, for my family. But now I just got to make the most of it. And I feel like this is the easy part. For me, it's like, hey, what drives you every day? Like, hey, I can go chase this dream, you know? So resetting goals, reevaluating. Again, I got a tough opponent. Odds are stacked against me, but I'm playing with house money. I mean, again, I wasn't going to be here. I wasn't going to be a last chance. You know, the day of last chance, I drove up at 3:30 in the morning to go compete at last chance. And I'm here, had a good tournament. 40-0, that was, I predicted 40-0 coming in. I wanted to get a tech at the end, but, you know, he got a good game plan. He made some good adjustments. So, you know, I'm happy where I am, but I'm not satisfied. I know where I can be. I know who has what I want. So, you know, Jaden just got to get his weight down and then show up, and it'll be good.